So hi, so Dipta, right?
Yes.
So please tell me about yourself.
Okay. So hi, this is Sudipta Samanto. So I am 2018 pass out. So I graduated in electronics and communication engineering, and right after my graduation, I joined Cognizant. So I was part of Cognizant around 3.5 years, and I worked with the client or Marriott International. So I worked a project of a migration project. So we are migrating the legacy code base to Java and Spring Boot. So, and my tech stack was there in Cognizant in Java, Spring Boot, JPA, and relational databases. And I joined as an application developer in Uran and last December 2021. So here I am a part of the Promise Engine and orchestration team. So like when someone purchases some product on Uran platform, so it provides some of the promise like when the order will be delivered. So yeah, so our team handles that part, that providing the actual promise. Um, yeah, so here the tech stack for me is Kotlin with Drop Wizard framework, and I have some familiarity with React also for front end side.
Okay, okay. So Java side, which version right now using?
So in my projects, I use Java 8.
And database?
So I'm accustomed with MySQL and SQL Server for
Okay,
relational database.
okay. Okay. So I think you have mentioned Docker Kubernetes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start with the core Java. Okay. So what are basic feature of object-oriented programming?
Okay. Um, okay. So there are some OOPS concept for object-oriented programming. So first is abstraction. So what abstraction says that like abstraction hides the like actual implementation of the complexities. It just provides us the like actual functionality. Like these are the methods or functions behavior you can expect, but you hide the actual implementation. For example, like if you consider like for a ATM class, you can have like you just know about the what are the functionality like check balance or withdraw cash. You don't know actual implementation of that in the backend side. So that is one example. In Java, we have the abstract classes and interfaces to provide the abstraction. Secondly,
No,
inheritance.
just 1 minute, 1 minute. Suppose don't have interface and abstract class. Okay, you have a only normal class. Just I will tell you. Class is any class have. Just assume class A have. Here have a method. Just like public void display. Here I am just putting system out dot println display. Okay.
Okay.
Now I am creating main method, and here I am creating the object of class A is equal to new A dot method display called A dot display. Okay.
Okay.
So in this scenario, how will you justify about the abstraction? Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, each and everything you already explained about the abstraction, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But ATM and something, just I tell you, I am virtually connected, right?
Yeah.
So here nothing know entirely how it is going to connect you and me, right?
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
also abstraction.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but this is not a programmatical answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am expecting as a technical answer. So suppose I given this example, so you justify how will happen abstraction if I am making this kind of class.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So,
Okay, let's just move on encapsulation. You explain about the encapsulation.
okay. Okay. So encapsulation says mm, uh, encapsulation says it provides a way to which part of the program can access the data of the class, right? So in case of Java, we have the several access specifier by which we can configure. We can say which part of the program have the ability to access the code on the
No,
particular date.
Sudipto. Actually, here is encapsulation. You have any characteristic about encapsulation? No, right?
Sorry.
Have any characteristic of this encapsulation? Means this should be mandatory, this should be not mandatory. These things have any in
No.
encapsulation? No. So why you are adding private, public? Why you are adding this abstraction is encapsulation is encapsulation. Means the definition is telling wrapping or binding the data and method into the single unit. This is the simple example, nothing else about that. Basic features is telling means basic is basic means for example I give you, you are working in IT industry, right, in particular reputed company.
Yeah.
So here what are the basic thing? When company is demanding you should have high school, intermediate and graduate, right? So
Yeah.
based on you will enter into the company, right? So this is the basic thing. So Java is also telling these are my basic feature means object, abstract, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism. This is the my
Yeah.
basic requirement. All application and everything should be work on the behalf of this 5 or 6 concept,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So here no need to tell about if I write Pojo here will define private. This is the modifier only that have other definition. If I want to access outside of class can be defined a public. Don't want access outside of class can be defined as a private. This is your choice of
Okay.
modifier. But encapsulation nothing tell you. You put this criteria, then will happen only in encapsulation. Because
Yeah.
of you taking about you every time you making bean, right, in during this program, so you writing private and setter and getter. That's why you telling about this is the part of encapsulation. This is not a part of encapsulation. This is the writing concept what to be access outside of class, what not to be accessed outside of class. So you will decide accordingly, right?
Yeah.
So encapsulation for your reference, just that's why I am telling you for reference, encapsulation just as a object entity. If you have any variable and method, once you create object, so that variable and method bind into the entity means inside the object automatically bind. This is the part of encapsulation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Right.
You can tell capsule is also part of encapsulation because of inside the capsule you will put so many mixture of medicine into the single capsule, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is the outside example, not a programmatical example. That's why I asking you as a core thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Similar
Yeah.
about the abstraction, if you call through the dot, the particular method, that call be a object dot method, that call be a abstraction. Why? Because of once your encapsulation is happen, right, so you will call particular method, that call be a abstraction. Yes, abstraction. Because of by using dot, nothing you are describing, nothing you explaining about these things, whatever you have written in method, right? Just to
Yeah.
get only the output. That's why I am telling you, hiding the complexity of behaviors. If you calling through dot, here nothing need to be write any methods behavior. Okay, behaviors means just a body, no required any body. If
Yeah.
you calling through this, right? So
Yes.
this is the abstraction. Okay,
Yeah.
so you tell me about polymorphism.
Okay. So polymorphism says that like when you want your same method to have the um, different functionality based on the type of parameter or number of parameter passed. Uh, so that is called the polymorphism. So in case of Java, we have like two types of polymorphism is there. One is the compile time polymorphism, that is the method overloading. So what happens in case of method overloading, like the method can be distinguished based on the type of parameters or number of parameters is there. And in case of runtime polymorphism, that is the method overriding. So it comes into play during the inheritance part. Like if you want a class method to behave slightly differently in your subclasses, you can override the method and provide a different implementation for that.
Okay, so suppose I will ask one programmatical question from you. Okay,
Okay.
so suppose just I am taking the example of overriding. Okay, so suppose you have a class A, here have a method public, private void display. Okay,
Okay.
and I am again creating class B as a subclass of A, means class B extend class A. Here I am writing public void display. So in that scenario, overriding will happen or not?
Okay. So in your super class, that
So
is a class A, your
here
method
is a private void display.
which where is private
In superclass
in superclass private and subclass
have
public,
a
right?
public, yes.
Okay. No,
In that case, overriding concept will follow or not?
okay. So in that case, overriding will not be followed because because in our subclass we don't have access to the superclass method, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay. Suppose I just removing overriding. Okay. Removing overriding like that, override annotation or anything else. Okay. So suppose I want compile and run this program. So will happen successfully compile and run? Override will not follow. Okay. But compile and run will follow or not?
it will compile and run.
Why? Because of I already given the condition. I am just removing override annotation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Override annotation. Because of if you
Yeah.
override annotation do, so in that case it will compilation error, right? But I don't want write override annotation. So in that scenario, it will compilation error will throw or not? Because of you are working in Java 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. Okay, let's move on next question. For your reference, it will compile and run because of both methods are independently call in both classes. Okay, we are
Yeah.
not going to overwrite because a private modifier cannot be override. So in
Mm-hmm.
that scenario, that method would not follow the overriding concept. Okay, so this will compile and run. If you forcefully you put at the rate auto override in child class, so in that case will give the compilation error.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, just I will ask one more question related to this. Suppose class A have a constructor A. Okay, here I am printing system out dot println constructor A. Class B, just you remove method and everything. Okay, just I am taking constructor only. Class B extend class A and constructor B is printing constructor B system out dot println constructor B. Okay. So
Okay.
now I am creating object of class B in main method.
Okay.
So if I am running this program, so which constructor first will call?
Um, okay. So first we'll call the constructor B, but it in the first line it will automatically call the constructor of A. So there will be printing of the class A, then class B.
Printing class A means constructor A first will print or
Constructor A first will print,
okay,
then constructor.
okay. That your correct answer after discussing to all things about that. Uh, so you aware about hash table and concurrent hash map?
Yeah.
Yeah, please tell.
Okay. So concurrent hash map is a like the thread safe implementation of the hash map. So uh, secondly, like it is like the fail safe iterator, and also it also a fail safe iterator. So what it means, uh, like when you iterating through the concurrent hash map, uh, uh, like if we manipulate or add elements, suppose other threads are adding elements to the hash map, it still works. It does not throw exceptions for that. Like the concurrent modification exception will not be thrown in this case. Um
Okay,
uh, okay.
okay. So suppose I want make a singleton class, okay, through Java program. So how do you make?
Okay. So there are a couple of steps needs to be followed. So first, I cannot. So first, I need to make sure make the constructor as a private. Secondly, I should have a static class instance inside that as attribute. Third, I should have a static method to get the instance, and that can get instance method to make it the thread safe. I need to make it I can use a synchronized block with double check on the null keyword. So and inside that I can check that if it is still not null, I will create the instance and at that return the instance.
Suppose any I want to make in any other way. So suppose in singleton class your constructor will be private or public. If suppose
Singleton plus constructor is be private.
private.
Yes.
So suppose I will write a constructor as a public. So what will happen? Is that class will be a singleton or not?
So if we have a public constructor, there is no way to stop like multiple instance creation.
Okay. Okay. So for stopping multiple instance creation, it is need to be write as a private constructor, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Uh, Next question. Any other way can make singleton?
There are a couple of other way. So I'm not exactly sure of the syntax, but we can also have a like the static inner class way of creating a singleton. In that case, like synchronization does not needs to be there, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. So you are in a Spring Boot, Spring framework. You are working. So how do you making singleton?
Okay, so like in case of Spring or Spring Boot, here I like my I ourselves we do not create the like the instance. So I configure the Spring and set the configure the scope of the bean. Like I say, like I want this to be a singleton, like the scope of singleton. Then Spring will manage the life cycle as a singleton class, a singleton instance. We also can do a prototype which does not follow like every request will get another new instance for that.
Okay. No, that why I am telling, because of you are using some annotation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you auto wired, it is also work as a singleton, right? If you auto
Yeah.
wired means as per the required you can create the instances of the class. But
Yes.
during the initialization, so Spring Framework have ability to create by default as a singleton. Okay.
Yeah.
So so okay, no problem. But we am good for this example. Another question, just I am asking about final class. How do you make final class?
Final class.
Custom. Suppose I will tell, just suppose I am lead of you. So I am telling just to make a one final class for calling for the particular business scenario. Okay, just I given this instruction. So how do you make final class?
Uh, I'm not exactly get the question. Like final class means like we already have a final keyword which we can connect like annotate.
No, final class, because
You mean
of
immutable class?
custom final class. How you make custom final class?
No, I'm asking like, do you mean like the immutable class?
Yes, you can say immutable. But the thing is same. I am asking, if I am asking how do you make final class, if I am asking in other way, how do you make a immutable class, both
Yeah,
are
like I
same.
actually I was thinking like the final keyword in case of Java. So okay, okay, yeah. So it means like the when you create an instance out of it, we cannot modify the data of it, right? So similarly, we need to follow some particular steps. So first, uh, um, like the attributes should be like the private and final. We can only assign it through the constructor. Secondly, we should not have any setter method on that. We only can have getter methods. Uh, third is that like if the class has a relationship with other class, uh, or any list or any map, something like that. Like during the initialization, we should make a clone or deep copy of that element during uh, initialization. Similarly, when you returning or the get in the get method, when you are returning the element, you create a local instance of it, new instance, like the deep copy, and return that instance. So from outside, when it get the instance, cannot modify the actual data. uh, and thirdly, we need to make the class as a final, so that we cannot make a child class out of it.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Mm, so, uh, just I am coming in collection framework. Okay.
Okay.
So, what are difference between linked list and array list?
Okay. Um, okay. So both are the like the dynamic size of array. You can consider. So they're different in the implementation. Okay. So what array list is based on the concept of the normal array. So it's a it's an index based addition and retrieval kind of thing. So when the size of the element crosses the size of the array, it will like increase the size of 50%, like that. But in case of linked list, so that implementation is based on the linked list. So we have a node, so linked list points to the head of the node, and we can add the elements like a linked list of elements. So uh, it is more dynamic.
So, you aware about high sync collision?
Yes.
Yeah, please tell.
Hash collision, right?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, just a second. Okay. So in I need to talk about like the hash map something. So what hash map is does like it based on the key, it find the like the hash code of the key, and find the appropriate bucket to put that corresponding node, and put that element in that bucket. So what happens is that the number of bucket size is limited. So number of elements can two different value can yield one same hash code. So it will lies in the same bucket. So this is one hash collision, because two different value or hash code is pointing to the same bucket. So this is kind of a hash collision.
Okay.
So there, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, no problem. Uh, I will ask one more programmatical question about collection. Okay.
Okay.
So, for example, you have a tree set. You aware about tree set?
Yes.
So, I am just writing one program in main method. Tree set ts is equal to new tree set. Okay.
Okay.
ts dot add null object nul.
Okay.
ts dot add abc as a string.
Okay.
Okay, you got it? You have any confusion about that? So I can repeat again.
So the do you have the generics like the in this tree set?
Yeah, you can generic or you can cost accordingly as a string, not a problem.
Okay.
Okay, ts. You take ts means is a object of tree set. You can take simple tree set. I am not asking about Java 8, Java 7 here required generic or anything. Just I am telling about the tree set. Ts is equal to new tree set as a just as a example. But
Okay.
it will work. Assume it will work because okay, if you don't use as a generic way, so also you can define as a legacy way. Okay, so just I am
Okay.
taking a legacy way. Tree set ts is equal to new tree set. Okay, so ts dot add null object nul ts dot add abc as a string double quotation abc. Okay, but in null I am not putting double quotation, just putting as a null.
Okay.
I am printing system out dot println ts. So what output you will get?
Okay. So when we use tree set, we like we cannot put the uh, null element in the tree set. It will throw a null pointer exception, exception in runtime.
Okay, 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 got it. Why will give the runtime exception as a null?
So like the tree set internally try to the sort the set. So
Okay,
it is use the comparator
okay,
comparator.
got it. Uh, Now moving on, you have worked on Hibernate.
Yeah, I have some familiarity with it.
So in Hibernate, suppose I want to table by using Pojo object. Suppose one
Okay.
is a product, one is a customer.
Okay.
One is a customer Pojo class, have a table customer. Okay.
Okay.
Here have a ID, customer name, customer uh, address and customer just like a name address just you can take as a customer information like that id
Okay. Okay. Sure.
name address. Okay,
Okay.
and product have a product id product name product price. Okay,
Okay.
so I want to correlate each other. Okay, correlate each other. So which kind of annotation you will use?
So these are two kind of table. Okay. So we want to like parses this two table, right?
Hmm. Two
Okay.
table, but you have a product persistent like that. Okay, in product percent, how will map the customer's ID in product and product ID how you will map in customer persistent object.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. So first I have two entity class. So one is product and customer. So we use the entity annotation. We can use the at the rate of table
No,
to name the table.
everything have, but I want know which join you will follow.
Okay. So in that case, I will like uh, Uh, okay, so
Column join or any other join you will follow.
uh, I see like this is kind of a one product can be purchased by multiple customer, or one product can be called by multiple customer. Okay, or multiple one customer can buy multiple products. So it's kind of many to many relationship. Uh,
Many to many. Eh?
yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Now moving on next question in Spring Framework. Okay. So
Okay.
you have used microservices.
Yes.
So what kind of design pattern you have followed during the development of microservices?
Okay.
You gave only two design pattern. I am not asking whole.
Okay. So I have used factory design pattern.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
In microservices can be used factory design pattern.
uh,
Microservice.
Microservice design pattern means I don't get the question.
So you have used microservices, right?
Yes.
So microservices have a design pattern. I think you are not aware about design pattern of microservices, right? So you just tell
No.
yes or no, not a problem.
Uh, so when you said like design pattern, I was thinking like design pattern of like the code structure. Uh,
No, 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 no. I'm not
uh,
asking.
I'm not aware of
Okay,
microservice
okay.
design.
So that's it. Not a problem. That's it. Not a problem. Suppose I am asking about the Spring framework. Okay.
Okay.
So in Spring framework, uh, how to just to give the flow, how to communicate Spring client to the through the Spring framework and database, and request and response how will flow in Spring framework.
Okay. Okay. So when you get any request, okay, from outside, so what will happen? Like it will go to the dispatcher servlet. Uh, okay, then dispatcher servlet will redirect that request based on the path parameter, like based on the URI, like like where the which controller function will get that request. So the control function we have the request mapping and mapping of the different URI for different methods. So request goes to that particular method, and then it goes to from controller. You can have the service layer. It goes to the service layer, and from that you goes to the repository to database, uh, and came repository to service layer. Then controller. Then controller returns back the data. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you aware about component, repository, service annotation?
Yes.
Okay. So what are differences on that?
Okay. So component is like the main umbrella annotation in case of Spring. And under that we have the control annotation, service, and repository. So okay. So first I'm talking about like the controller annotation. So controller annotation is similar to the component annotation, but only one thing is different is that like the when the dispatcher sublet get the request, it will check the controller annotated classes for particular mapping of the request. Now, if you're talking about the service annotation, so this annotation is purely for the classification of the classes or the what the class is meant to do, like the business logic and all. It does not have any extra features apart from the component. We can easily added the component annotation here. In case of repository annotation, so repository annotation also the similar way of the component annotation. but it has some slight extra functionality, uh, like it can catch the database persistence exception or something like that and convert it to the Spring database uniform exception, like data access exceptions. I think it handles the repository component.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so overall is good, not a problem. Okay. So
Okay.
anything else you want to ask?
Um, so I just I am not sure, like if are you represents the Equini company or not. Then I have
Okay.
some company.
Okay, so no problem. Once you selected, so HR definitely will give that kind of information, like that
Okay.
work culture
Yeah.
and about company and product, whatever have. Okay,
Yeah.
so you will get from the HR, not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 And thank you. The basic fundamentals you made very good, clear about it. Thank you for that.
Okay, 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 no problem, no problem. Because of why I am selecting you as per the your experience level, uh, uh, you are good, but so this is the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. So your name is
Sudipto. Yeah.
Sudeep. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. हटो हटो हट यही सारे कपड़े खाइए